So, good afternoon sa ating lahat. Let's continue our tutorial for the corporation, its basic consideration. So, rights of a shareholder. So, the following are some of the rights of a shareholder. So, number one is right to be issued certificate of stock. So, ano nga ba itong certificate of stock na tinatawag natin? So, a stock certificate is a physical piece of paper that represents a shareholder's ownership in a company. Stock certificates include yung information such as yung number of shares na in-own nila or number of shares owned, date of purchase, and identification number, usually a corporate seal and signatures. Naka-corporate seal siya and may signatures ng shareholders. Number 2 ay certificate of stocks or yung other evidence of share ownership and to transfer such shares. So number 2 rights of a shareholder is right to attend and vote in person or by proxy at shareholders meetings. Syempre, they have the right to yung nga umattend dun sa in person or sila mismo, or in case na hindi sila available dun sa time nung napag-usapan nilang meeting is pwede silang magpadala ng proxy nila. Number 3 rights is right to elect and remove directors. Syempre, they have the right to vote. May right din sila na mag-remove ng directors nila. Number 4 is yung right to adopt, amend, or repeal the bylaws. May karapatan silang baguhin kung ano man yung nasa rules and regulations nila. Or i-revoke yung nandoon sa rules and regulations nila. Number 5 is right to purchase a portion of any new shares issued to maintain yung same percentage of stock ownership nila. They have the right to purchase. Number 6 right is the right to receive dividends when declared. Ano nga ba itong dividends na to? So in accounting, yung dividends is often refers to the cash dividends that a corporation pay to its stockholders. Dividends are often paid quarterly, pero pwede siyang bayaran at other times or sa ibang araw, ganun, or ibang buwan. So, for a dividend to be paid, yung corporation's board of directors must formally approve or declare the dividend. Number 7 right is right to inspect they have the right to inspect the corporate books and records and to review financial reports of the corporation's operation. Syempre, they have the right to inspect yung corporate books nila, yung records. Kasi, di ba, nag-invest din naman sila ng money nila doon sa binuong corporation. So they have the rights to review yung financial reports nila. Reports ng corporation's operations. So last right of a shareholder is yung right to participate in the distribution of corporate assets upon dissolution. Yun lang po for the rights of a shareholder. For the next slide, may I call Ms. Frenzy Claire de Guzman to discuss the next slide po.
And so, thank you po. Good afternoon. Dito, meron tayong mga components of a corporation. Ngayon, meron tayong 8 na components. So, first is yung mga corporators. Kapag sinabing corporators, sila daw yung nagko-compose a corporation. Those who compose a corporation, whether as shareholders or members. So, meaning sila yung mga bumubuo sa isang corporation. pwede siyang pwedeng incorporators, shareholders, or members. Next is incorporators. Yung incorporators naman, sila yung mga shareholders or members mentioned in the Articles of Incorporation as originally forming and composing the corporation and are signatories to said Articles of Incorporation. Sila yung, kung yung sa corporators, sila yung mga bumubuo, sa incorporators, sila yung bumuo sa corporation. Sila yung mga original na nakasign dun sa Articles of Incorporation which is na discuss nung mga nakaraang araw. Sila yung mga, sabi niya kapag incorporators daw, kailangan natural persons sila or human beings. Ganon. And tulad din ng nasabi dito, 5 or more persons siya, basta hindi lalagpas sa 15. Na nasa legal age, and of course, dapat owner sila ng at least one ng share of capital stock, and sinasabi na dapat is majority are residents of the Philippines. Ayan. Note sa corporators, a corporation or a partnership can be a corporator but cannot be an incorporator. Kasi nga 'di ba, yung incorporators sila kasi nga 'di ba, ang sinabi sa incorporator sila yung mga original, yung mga naka-sign doon sa Articles of Incorporation. And yung corporators naman is members, mga ganong members. Basta pag corporator, buo na yung buo. And a partnership can be a corporator in a corporation, but a corporation cannot be a partner in a partnership. Cannot be a general partner in a partnership. And sa incorporators naman, note daw na all incorporators are corporators of a corporation, but not all corporators are incorporators. Ganon. Ganon lang sa sinabi ko na yung incorporators sila yung mga nakasign sa Articles of Incorporation. So, meaning, corporators talaga sila. Sila yung kasama sila dun sa mga bumubuo sa corporators. Pero hindi lahat ng corporators is incorporators. Hindi lahat ng corporators yung mga bumubuo is nakasign sila lahat sa Articles of Incorporation, hindi yon. So next is we have shareholders or stockholders. Ito daw yung mga corporators sa stock corporation. Pwede silang pwede silang a natural or juridical person. And kapag sinabi nating members, syempre sila yung mga corporators sa isang non-stock corporation. And meron tayong subscribers. Ito yung mga person who have agreed to take and pay for original and issued shares of a corporation formed or to be formed. Note that all incorporators are subscribers, but a subscriber need not to be an incorporator. Parang yung ganun lang din sa sinabi ko sa kaninang slide. So we also have promoters, persons who bring or cause to bring about the formation and organization of a corporation. Sila yung parang nagpo-promote gano'n. Promoters. And we also have underwriters. Usually daw sila yung mga investment bankers who have agreed to buy at stated terms an entire or a substantial part of an issue or security, or mga guaranteed the sale of an issue by agreement to buy from the issuing corporation and the unsold portion at stated price, or investment bankers who have agreed to use his best efforts to market all or part of an issue. Or last, sila na yung mga investment bankers who have offered for sale shares he purchased from a controlling stockholders. And last, we have independent director. Pag sinabing independent director, sila yung mga person na apart from his fees and shareholding, is independent siya sa management and free from any business. Yan. Sabi niya dito, a publicly held corporation shall have at least 2 independent directors or at least 20% of the members of the board, whichever is less. Ginagawa to protect the interests of the shareholders and also the investors. And the election of the independent directors daw is ginagawa during the annual stockholders meeting by the stockholders themselves. So, yun. Yun na yung A components of a corporation natin. Dumako naman tayo dun sa classes of shares in general. Classes of shares. Ganon. We have 10. First is yung par value. Sa pag-par value, siya yung mga fixed amount or specific fixed amount na nakikita dun sa articles of incorporation and nag-a-appear siya sa certificate of stock. Nasabi din doon, nung in-explain din yung articles of incorporation, nabanggit din doon yung kung nailalagay din yung sa par shares, par value shares, and yun. Pag sinabing par value shares, siya yung minimum issue price ng share. Tulad ng sinabi niya dito. And sinabi din sa section 6 of the code na yung preference shares or yung preferred shares daw is pwede siyang i-issue, may be issued only as par value shares. Yan. After ng par, we have no par value shares. Tulad nga ng sabi niya, no par. Ibig sabihin, siya daw yung walang one without any value appearing on the face of the certificate stock. So, ang gagawin, wala siyang fixed amount ganon, pero meron siyang stated value na it may have a stated value which may be fixed in the articles of incorporation or by the board of directors. So, dahil dyan, meron tayong minimum stated value, di ba? Sabi nga na pag no par, meron siyang stated value. And sinabi dito na ang minimum stated value ng no par value shares is 5 pesos daw per share. In addition, yung mga shares issued without par are deemed fully paid siya. And yung mga bank, trust companies, and insurance companies, public utilities, and building and loan associations daw is hindi pinipermit to issue a no par value shares of stock. And yan, meron din tayo ditong voting shares and non-voting shares. Tulad ng sabi niya, voting shares. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung ini-issue with the right to vote. And kapag sinabing non-voting shares, ito naman yung ini-issue without the right to vote. And ayan, meron din tayong ordinary shares and preference shares. Pag sinabing ordinary shares, ito yung mga shares na ini-entitle na yung holder to have an equal pro-rata division ng profits. And kapag preference share naman, ito yung mga ini-entitle yung holder to a certain advantages. Mas magigets na itong mga to kapag nasa problem na tayo. So, ngayon, mag-churi-churi muna. Yan, meron din tayong promotion shares and treasury shares. Kapag sinabing promotion shares, ito yung mga ini-issued sa promoters. Yung nabanggit kanina na promoters as compensation in promoting the incorporation ng corporation and also sa mga services na nirendered nila or sa pagpromote ng welfare ng corporation. And kapag sinabing treasury shares, ito yung mga stock that has been issued by the corporation as fully paid and later nire-reacquire nila but na retired, parang binibili ulit nila. And last, we have convertible shares. Tulad ng sabi niya, convertible. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung mga stock which is convertible or changeable siya from one class to another class. So, ayun. Ayun lang yung classes of shares natin. May tanong ba? So, I guess wala naman. So, Miss Mary Ann for the next slide po. Thank you.
So, ayun. Minimum subscription and paid-in capital. So, at the time of incorporation, at least 25% of the authorized capital stock, as stated in the Articles of Incorporation na na-discuss naman ni Ms. Daphne, must be subscribed, and at least 25% of the total subscription must be paid upon subscription. The balance to be payable on the dates or dates fixed in the contract of subscription without need of a call or in the absence of a fixed date or dates upon call for payment by the board of directors. In no case shall the paid-in capital be less than 5,000. So these requirements are mandatory. Hindi tatanggapin ng Securities and Exchange Commission ang Articles of Incorporation unless merong statement ng treasurer na inelect ng mga subscribers na nagsasabi na yung minimum subscription at paid-in capital ay nakapag-comply sila. So let's go to illustration. Assume that the authorized share capital is 2 million divided into 20,000 shares with a par value of 100 per share. So yung subscribed share capital must be 500,000, which is 25% ng authorized share capital na 2 million. Yung paid-in capital naman, 125,000, which is 25% ng subscribed share capital of 500,000. So na-apply doon yung 25% rule. And next slide po. So this is the basic corporate organizational structure. Hierarchy of corporate structure. So yung shareholders, sila yung may ultimate control of the corporation. Basically, yung owners of the corporation. Sila din yung nag-elect ng top governing body, which is the member of the board of directors. Yung board of directors naman, yung responsible sa formulation ng overall policies para sa corporation and sa exercise of corporate powers. Siyempre, sila din yung nag-elect ng chairman of the board. Yung election naman ng professional management team or the administrative officers is entrusted to the board. This team may include the president, executive vice president, accounting, finance, and etc. So itong mga officers na to, sila yung responsible sa implementation ng policies of the board of directors. And sa pagmamanage ng, syempre yung day-to-day affairs ng corporation. Nabanggit nga ni Ms. Renzi na yearly merong shareholders meeting kung saan nag-elect sila ng directors and make other decisions. And in addition, sabi sa Section 25 of the Corporation Code of the Philippines, hindi ko na naidagdag dyan. The president of the corporation must be a director of the corporation. Pero hindi pwedeng siya yung president and secretary or president and treasurer at the same time. The president is the only officer, only siya lang, required by law to be a director. And the corporate secretary must be a resident and a citizen of the Philippines. Matatakal nyo itong about sa resident citizen and non-resident citizen sa taxation nyo sa second year. First time ata or second time. So, duty ng secretary to make and keep its records and to make a proper entries of the votes, resolutions, and proceedings of the shareholders, and directors in the management of the corporation. And lastly, the corporate treasurer naman, yung authorized officer to receive, syempre, money matters yung sa treasurer. Authorized officer to receive and keep the money of the corporation and disburse them. So sabi din dito, wala daw prohibition sa batas against a shareholder na director or officer of 2 or more corporations. Pero parang para sa akin kasi may conflict of interest na pag ganun. Pero sabi nga, wala daw prohibition, so never mind. Next slide na po. Yes. Ayan. So these are the corporate books and records. The first one, minutes book. It contains the minutes of the meeting of the directors and shareholders. Pangalawa, stock and transfer book. It records, ito yung record of the names of the shareholders, installments paid, and unpaid by shareholders, and dates of payment, any transfer of stock and date thereof. The third one, book of accounts. Syempre, lahat ng record ng business transactions normally include journal and ledger. The fourth one, subscription book, book of printed blank subscription. The fifth one, shareholders ledger. Nakalagay naman dito yung number of shares issued to each shareholder. And sixth, subscribers ledger. Ledger for subscriptions receivable account. It also reports the individual subscription ng mga subscribers. And the last one, stock certificate book. Book of printed blank certificates of stock. So, any question po? So, ayun, that's the end of our tutorial for today. Medyo maikli lang kasi nung na-discuss na nung last, nung Thursday. Any question, guys? So, wala na. Miss
For me po,
Friend,
ate.
ano po yun?
Wala naman ako.
Ay, pinakaba mo. Sige, wala na daw. Thankfully. Miss Frenzy, wala na daw po. Okay na po.
So, ayun. Thank you. Medyo maikli lang talaga yung discussion natin ngayon. So, yun lang. Pa-open cam na lang tayo for
Ay, may tanong pala ako kay Dan. Exam niya na ba next week?
By 15 po sa accounting.
15. Kailan yun? Wednesday.
Yes po.
So, no? Frenzy, di parang last tutorial na to. Kung exam na nila sa 15.
Oo.
Pero i-announce na lang ni Natalie, yung leader namin, kung last na ito or meron pa next week. So, ayun.
Okay po.
Sige. Miss Frenzy.
So, ayun. Open cam na lang tayo para sa Okay na. Ay, wait lang. Ulitin natin si Daphne. Yan. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay na siya. So, yun lang talaga for today. Maikli lang talaga siya. Thank you ulit, Dan, and thank you sa mga kasama namin dito.
Thank you.
See you ulit sa next tutorial.
Isa lang ata absent ni Dan mo. Kahapon.
Oo.
Opo, nasa ano, nabas ako.
Ay, laging present eh. Thank you.
Ayun. Wala na ba talagang tanong? Basta magtanong na lang kayo sa GCN update
Tanong
na
lang
lang.
po ako, Julie.
Sige, sige.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.